All right, we're going to call this Star City Council meeting to order. I need a, hang on a sec, she's going to mute that, I think. All right, no, hang on a sec. She's a Mac girl, she has a PC. All right, so we'll call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, May 18, 2021. It's 7:01 p.m. I'm going to ask everybody to please stand with me so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I'm going to have Mr. TJ Warren come up and do the invocation tonight. I appreciate you coming down here tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. So I just wanted to start out with a little bit of scripture. It says here in Jeremiah 29, verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you." This is the Lord's declaration. It says, "Plans for your welfare, not for your disaster, to give you a future and hope." You guys bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings, Lord. Thank you for life itself, and for that measure of health that you give us to fulfill your callings, Lord. For our friendships that we have, and thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work that honor and bearing responsibility that you've given us, Lord. Thanks for this freedom you have to embrace you, and for your boundless and gracious nature, Lord. Lord, the scripture says that citizens ought to obey their governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice, Lord. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and for this assembled council, Lord. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid conflicting interests and issues, Lord. I pray for a sense of the true needs of the city of Star. I pray for some confidence in what is good, and the ability to work together in harmony, even when there's disagreement, Lord. I pray for personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray for the agenda set before us today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work around our beloved city of Star. And in your most blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. Okay, we're going to roll call.
Councilwoman Salmonson.
Here.
Councilman Hershey.
Here.
Councilman Keys.
Present.
Councilman Nielsen.
Okay, we got 3 or 4, so we do have a quorum. Councilman Keys is participating remotely in another state with us right now, so hopefully the right state of mind, actually, not a different state. Right. Okay. We'll go to public input first. Can I get that sheet from you? I know, he's got a lot of keys on there. Okay, we're going to do some public input tonight. When I call your name, I'll have you come up here to the podium. State your name and address, please, for the record, and make sure you're speaking into the mic so we can get it, everybody can hear it. That's online as well. I have, is it Albert Dalvin?
Right.
I'm sorry?
Right.
Okay, you can come up, sir. And you got about, well, we only got a couple people, so 4 minutes if you want.
Well, I don't think I need that much time. All I want to do is address that.
Just state your name and address real quick, please. For the
Albert Dobbin, 22020 Blessinger Road, Star, Idaho.
Okay. Go ahead.
The road, I called the Canyon County Highway District 4. And Chris is the guy that Hunter Holmes talked to about the road. They told him he had to meet certain standards and bring him back to him. They have never done that. So the road is not adequate under their standards as of right now, and they have not responded back to him to get an approval or a disapproval. So this is what I need to talk about. The road's only 26 foot wide. You state right in your deals that in the subdivision, they're 36 foot wide. How can you have, let's say, 1,200 car trips a day going down a 26 foot wide road with a 19-foot culvert in it?
You're talking the main one, right? That
Yeah.
goes right down? Lessinger
Lessinger.
itself? Okay.
Lessinger itself, which the 19-foot is not adequate. And they seem to want to refuse to address it at the last meeting. So that's what I'm here for. And I thought this would only take me 30 seconds, but
That's
I
okay.
think,
I interrupted you.
I think maybe you guys should reconsider and check with Canyon County, Chris over there and stuff, because they're not covering all their bases. Let's do it right and get it done right, and have the road done before the houses are in there.
So that, I'm going to tell you, Canyon County is going to require them to build it to the standards that they have before they could pull even a permit. And so
Well, Chris didn't say that. but
that's the requirement on any development, right? And so that, before they can pull a permit, they're going to have to bring it up to whatever standards that Canyon County requires, Canyon Highway District 4, for that road. So,
Okay, well, I know they can't come to the east on it.
sure. So they'll
because-
have, I mean, obviously they have things to work out. So the public hearing was just the first part. There's a lot of details that they have to work out with any of the agencies out
Well,
there related to that. So,
The attorney said that
Yeah.
we should voice our,
sure. No, but it's perfectly fine.
I mean, so
Yep.
that we've got concerns there and worries, and their little turn thing that they made up was, he said it might be adequate in 2007, but it's not adequate now.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Okay, we got, let's see, Mr. Greg, is it Lively? Mr. Greg Lively, state your name and address for the record, sir.
Well, my name's Greg Lively, and I live at 10232 West Shumar Drive in Star.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say that I've really enjoyed living in Star for the last, 5.5 months. We moved here from California, and I've just been really enjoying it and really loving the place. And I just like the mix of the country with, but there's a lot of building going on, and I know there's a lot of issues with that. And we do have a development. I live in Lake Point on Floating Feather, and there's another development. Someone told me it was called Cherished Estates. Is
So
that-
I need
Mayor,
to
Mr.
just
Mayor?
real quick.
We can't discuss
I know,
that.
I know,
Okay.
I know. I just need to stop you because it's an active application. We can't do any public testimony or anything on
Okay.
that tonight. So the night of the actual first hearing,
Uh-huh.
that's when I'll need you to come back and speak towards that. But you can speak to
Okay.
anything you want outside of that
Well, can I just
active
talk about
development.
developments in general?
General.
Okay,
General's
great.
good,
Well,
yes.
we've got, at Lake Point, it's about an equal the size to what's next to us, and we have 79 homes. And I think they're projecting to put quite a few more than that around us in different developments. And so I was just hoping that you guys would use your good judgment and not crowd the roads so much with too much development. It's just, it's nice to be able to, I mean, the roads are getting crowded. They're going to get more crowded because we're going to be putting a lot more. I see developments going in all over. And if we start cramming a lot of houses more so than what we've got in ours, it's just going to get out of hand. And there's enough land for development and for developers to make money without having to cram every house they possibly can in. So I just want to encourage you guys to use your judgment. And I don't envy your job trying to balance all the different needs and everything. And I'm not sitting in a place where I know what all the different parameters are, but I'll be praying for each of you. So around 11 o'clock, if your ears are burning, that's me. That's me
So,
praying for you.
I just want to encourage you though, when that does come up, come back and speak to that one and any of your neighbors. on
Okay.
that, Towards
Okay.
that. But
Is
I'm going to give you my card and my contact on there too. So if you wanted to reach out and chat about it too, we can do that. All right. You betcha. All right. So that is all that signed up on that tonight. And so we'll go into number 5, the awards. Mr. Matt.
Awesome. Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you so much for having us tonight and getting us on the agenda. It's really interesting. Whenever we do a quarterly service award, there's always a nomination that happens, but this one was a bit different because Pat, our nominee, is actually leaving town. And Councilman Keys, who's with us in digital form tonight, recommended that we give her a serious look. And so we decided, and I sent out an email and asked her, I was like, can we possibly, can we get this one passed? Can we get this one through real quick? And unanimously, they said yes. And I think has a lot to do with the fact that Pat has been involved with the Star Lions Club since 2014. She's been helping out with the potato breakfast. She's been helping out with things that make Star what it is. The Pheasant Hunters Breakfast. She's been involved in the Star Markets. She's been involved in a whole variety of things across the city. And unfortunately, it's sad whenever we lose a huge titan of our community to another state. But she's going out of state, and we will certainly miss her. And if any of you have any participation or work that you've done with Pat, I would encourage you guys to share it and just let her know that she's going to be missed and she's going to be loved. And that's why we have this right here for you, Pat. So if you want to come up real quick.
So, well, Miss Pat, will you talk in the microphone so those on the, I was gonna say radio, but on the internet can hear you?
I have to give a lot of credit to the wonderful volunteers that belong to the Lions Club. They have contributed a lot to this city. They're a believer that volunteering makes the city a little bit nicer place to live. And some of the things that I'd like to point out is that magnificent flag that stands in Hunters Park was one of the first projects that Lions did. They're responsible for the banners that are on Highway 44 in front of the businesses, our little libraries in the park. And they're also going to be present this Saturday at the police department's fishing rodeo, helping out there. And I can't think of a better place for our kids to be on a Saturday than fishing. So thank you. And thanks to the Lions that will still be here to contribute a lot more to this great city. And I'm going to miss you.
Yes, and we're gonna miss you, Miss Pat. You've done a lot for us, and I really love your friendship over the years with us here and giving me a little bit of guidance as we go along. So it's awesome.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, yes, Councilman Keys.
you know, I've said many, many times that anytime something good happens in Star, the Lions are there. And anytime the Lions are there, Pat Gore has been there. To me, you do the math on that, and that really means that anytime something good has happened in Star, Pat Gore has been there. And she is going to be sorely missed in this community. Pat, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And thank you so, so much for your service to our town.
Thanks, Mike.
But you know where we are, so we expect to see you.
I'll be back to
Okay, good, good. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the committee reports. Mr. John, I think, yeah, there you are, for the Transportation and Pathways Committee.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, John Tenson, 538 South Selwood Lane, Star, Idaho. First thing, Transportation and Pathways Committee, we have 2 new members. We have 2 new highly qualified members, Steve Green, who's a retired transportation engineer, and Richard Gerard, who has 20 plus years in the transportation field. He last served as the director of the Golden Gate Highway District in Wilder, so we're excited about that. On the transportation side of the committee, really not a lot has happened. We're still awaiting to hear from ACHD on our integrated 5-year work plan request. On the pathways side of it, Councilman Salmonson and I are taking the lead on inventorying the pathways that we have along the irrigation entities and within the subdivisions. We'll consolidate that information on and get it drafted on maps. So that's kind of the first step in the master planning. As far as we did submit 4 grants to Compass. They were floating feather to the Star Middle School pathway design, the Star Riverwalk pathway extension and paving evaluation from Highway 16 to Star Road, the Star Downtown Parking Study, and the Highway 44 State Street sidewalk inventory feasibility study to inventory what gaps we think we'll have left once all the major projects are done. Those grant applications were preliminary reviewed on May 12th. Mayor Chadwick, Sean, and I attended virtually. Mayor Chadwick, you did a very nice job answering the questions. So I think they were received favorably. Compass will meet again on the 26th. So we'll see how that all shakes out. So.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Mr. Matt, it's your turn again for the Parks, Art, and Beautification Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Matt Brasper, 586 North Evelyn Way in Star. Just a quick update for you on a couple of our projects. The first that we've been focusing on is the Life Preserver project that you tasked our committee with. So we would like to begin the installation process with those, probably beginning in June, if not the end of May. We've got, I think, at current count, probably 25 to 30 of them ready to go. HOAs that have agreed to allow us to place those life preservers at drainage ditches or at large ponds in their developments. And I know that the code now has been changed, that new developments, if they have ponds or drainage ditches, that those are being installed before the matter, as well as down at the Riverwalk. So we want to make sure we get some down there as well, and possibly at the two large ponds behind Heron River.
Real quick, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that Justin May, a citizen in our community, is owner of Firehouse Subs, and he stepped up to the plate on getting us donations for all those, which is awesome. He was able to secure about $6,000 from various businesses. And they've done a great job, Firehouse Subs, in supporting our first responders anyway. And so this is something that our first responders are glad that it's going in around our ponds to help out. So.
Awesome. And thank you, Mr. May, for your help on that, if you're listening. And also a little update on his son today, actually. So hopefully he is listening. Like I said, progress is being made on that. We'd like to begin that process. We have volunteers who are willing to help us out with the installation of those. And so just kind of going to keep rolling on. We'll keep you updated as that project moves forward. The second bit of information I have for you is the cleanup efforts that we've been doing. I don't know if some of you may have seen, but the yesterday or day before last, we revitalized the Star Senior Center, and that was just kind of off the cuff. A member of our committee, Jerry, had mentioned that she wanted to just do that, and the committee and I just said, sure, let's do it. So we requested some donations from the community. We purchased some flowers, some bark. About 13, 14 folks came out, and we just picked weeds and raked and cleaned it up, and it looks really nice. So go check it out if you get an opportunity. And so that being said, we really like those sort of spur of the moment projects that we can do. So if you have any more of them for us, Mr. Mayor, Council, please send them our way. We are happy to do those for you. Okay. The third bit of information I have for you is on May 24th, we're going to be having our next committee meeting, and at that meeting, we'll be taking up a master parks plan that Councilwoman Salmonson had asked us to put on our agenda. So we will be beginning looking at that. Hopefully we can have something to you formally with that hopefully by the end of the year, and just to formalize that and kind of move forward on that process. So welcome to have any assistance or help on that project moving forward. And that's all I really have on that. We haven't really discussed it yet, but we will be working on that starting the 24th. The next, I just want to thank you, the council and the mayor, for approving our mural project outside of the Star Senior Center. They're really excited about it. I think it'll be great. I do have one question, if you can help me real quick. When do you have an anticipated start date on when you would like to see that project commence?
I thought you would have started a week ago. We have to do some. I'm just getting on you, Matt. I think there was a couple questions I think that we had to get answered first before we can start.
Okay, sounds good.
Once we get those answers, as soon as we can.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you again from the committee, and I think the community is going to be really, really, really excited to have it. So,
yeah.
The next bit, obviously, quarter two, we just got that out of the way. Miss Pat Gore Next item I have for you all is the pack it in and pack it out signage that the committee voted on and recommended that we add a couple more signs to our local parks and to the Star River Walk, just regarding trash that is brought into those areas. Just a reminder for folks to make sure that they're indeed packing out any trash, because it does pile up pretty quick. And, we can't really help it if the wind blows, right? And oftentimes those trash cans will get quite full and they'll just fall out. They're popular, cool parks. A lot of people go to them. So just anything that folks can pack in, it's really important that we help to encourage them to pack it out. Next bit, the day that we helped out the Star Senior Center, I went and met with an organization called Just Serve. A gentleman reached out to me and he would really, really like to partner with us on projects, on park cleaning, on pickup projects, on anything. And I'm really going to be utilizing their help with regard to the installation of those life preservers. They really are really wanting to help us out. And I think it's because there's a requirement for Just Serve. If you're a member of it, you have to give a certain amount of time per month to community service. And so we'll keep them busy. Any questions? I'm going to try to save you guys time. Any questions so far? Awesome. All right. Next is our float that we'll be working on. May 24th, we will begin the work on that for our parade float. It's going to be pretty cool. Mr. Keys says he's going to be, he says he has a little bit of help for me with regard to the tractor. And thank you so much for that, Mr. Keys. And so we will be commencing on that. Looking forward to being a part of that for this year as well. Other than that, I'm open to any questions that you all may have.
Any questions for Mr. Matt? No?
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Okay, Ms. Dana, for the Activities Committee.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Dana Partridge, Chair of the Activities Committee. Just going to give you a little bit of an update of what's been going on with Hometown Celebration. I met today with a possible vendor for our t-shirts and we're getting a bid on those. They will have the wonderful tractor logo that was so popular 2 years ago. And so we're going to make those available to the public. We will have one version of the t-shirts available for pre-sale. The Mayor's Youth Council will be selling those along with raffle tickets, I believe, and I'm not sure if we have someone here that's going to give a presentation today, but I think they're going to be at Ridley's and at the Merc, but don't quote me at that. And we will have a t-shirt available along with the raffle tickets. All the other items we're going to sell at the actual event themselves at the Mayor's Youth Council booth. We have some fun things that we're working on that we hope we can get together, like hats and blankets and things like that. We have our first, let me keep going with Hometown, sorry. All of the donations are in.
Yep.
So we have $40,000 in corporate sponsorship donations. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for working so hard on that. All of the parade permits have been submitted to ITD and ACHD. We are currently working, Sarah and Carol are currently working on the permits for Central District Health and working with all of our food truck vendors to make sure that everybody is legal and doing things the correct way. Our next meeting on Hometown is this Thursday, the 20th at 4 p.m. at LifeSpring. And then a couple other events we have going on. Our first concert, summer concert series, is at the River House on June 11th at 7 p.m. I just did a Facebook post on that, and that is co-hosted by SWIDBA. I believe the band is called Shot Glass. And then our first movie night is on June 25th at dusk. We haven't picked the movies yet. They're obviously G-rated family ones, and I am currently deep diving into all things projectors. So I will have some information on you to give you how much we will need to spend on our projection system. As you know, we already have an inflatable screen and we have a PA system. We just need to get our own projector system. We were renting it in the past, and so we want to invest in one of those. So I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dana?
Okay,
No, thank you for everything on your guys' committee on getting that all going. I'm looking forward to the 4th of July celebrations. I enjoy them. Anybody here for the Historical Committee? Or for my Mayor's Youth Council?
I can update the
Historical?
historical.
Okay.
Yeah, real quickly.
Councilman Hershey?
Yeah, they had their first meeting and they have their second meeting coming up this Thursday at 3:30. Still looking for active participants if you'd like. It's still in its infancy. They just basically what's the phase? Storming, forming, the forming phase. And so, yeah, we're not norming, we're not performing yet, we're getting there. And basically what they did was they elected the chairman, who's gonna be, I believe, Chip Sinton. And so this next meeting, they're just talking about other basic logistics of where to store items, how to collect items, and the future of what the historic society and museum is gonna be. And it's quite a long process because it's going to require other charities to move around. We're going to shuffle things around, but that's my thing on that. And if I may add one comment, and I will, because I'm council president, I'm going to use that title
Okay.
just once. But you know, I heard my job's not enviable today, and you're absolutely right. But when it comes to these committees and this city, look at what we had today. We have volunteer societies. We have the Lions Club, which they also donate to teachers. They didn't even bring that up. They donate to teachers. We have the food bank. We have the senior center. We have incredibly good people on these committees doing volunteer service. We have up and coming leaders that are emerging. That's you, Matt, just so you know. I really believe that. And yes, I will give you that plug. Sorry if it embarrasses you, but you are. You're an amazing man. And you know, it's people leave. Unfortunately, we're losing Pat, but this city has got an amazing heart. And that's one thing I get to see every day. Thank you. That's half my report too, so thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, on to item 7, the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of item 7A, approval of claims provided, item 7B, approval of minutes completed, item 7C, finding of fact for 1, Paint Point subdivisions short plat and private street, 2, River Park subdivision annexation development agreement and preliminary plat, 3, Loran Estates subdivision annexation development agreement short plat and private street, 4, Gray Lot Cabinetry conditional use permit modification for height exception, 5, Wild Rice subdivision preliminary plat and development agreement modification, and item 7D, final plats, Sunfield Estates subdivision.
So Councilman Keys, can you modify your motion for me to remove item 1, Paint Point subdivision short plat? That'll be done at a later date. And move item 5, Wild Rice subdivision to 8B for a discussion action item because of some changes.
I amend my motion accordingly.
Okay, we got our motion amended. Do we have a second?
Second.
We got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Did you say aye, Councilman Keys?
I did.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't hear that. Sorry. Okay, we got 3 ayes, so that motion carries. We're going to move on to item 8A, the approval of resolution to pay certain bills prior to the council meeting. This was being brought up by our city clerk and treasurer, Jacob Qualls. He has a sinus infection, therefore he is not here today and tonight. So we're gonna talk about this. It's a resolution authorizing the city treasurer to pay certain vendors prior to submitting the bills to the council. And we've changed to where we were paying things monthly, we're paying things bi-monthly now. And we're trying to avoid any of the late fees and or charges associated with not getting these things paid in time. And so this resolution allows him to pay these before they come to see you. And there's specific items here that he has listed. Do you have a question or comments there, Mr. Attorney?
Just a quick comment. This is a common resolution that cities and other government entities have. And just for purposes of the public, all of these are intended to be routine items. For instance, like your utility bills or those sort of things that you're going to see monthly. Subscriptions is on there, postage. Anyway, anything that's extraordinary would still come to the council first, typically before being paid. But this is it's a common type of resolution. It may not look exactly like this. They may have different items in the list, but I support adopting this resolution. It'll make it a lot easier for the treasurer, and I think it'll save taxpayer dollars as well in the future.
Okay. You guys have any comments, questions, motions?
I make a motion.
You
I think this is a
certainly
good
can.
idea. I'd make a motion that we approve City of Star Resolution 2021-02, a resolution authorizing the city treasurer to pay certain vendors prior to submitting the bills to the council.
We got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll have Miss Jennifer as a second on that one. Any further discussion?
Take draft off of it.
Mayor Chadwick. I have,
Councilwoman?
One question about the debit card.
Mhm.
Does that, do those fees automatically get drawn out of an account, or is that
They do.
truly a bill?
No, they get drawn out of account, but it's a bill that you guys see
Okay,
typically every month on your claims.
okay,
You will still see these.
You're gonna see them.
They'll just be paid before you see them, the items on the list, but they will still come in front of you. So if there's questions that you have about a certain expense, you'll still have an opportunity to ask about that or find out exactly what it is. So you'll still always see everything on this list, just the timing of it will be a little different to make sure that they get paid without having to pay fees.
okay.
Okay.
That is the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Keys, you have any question? I want to make sure.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. With no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing 3 ayes, that motion carries. We're going to move to item 8B, which is the Wild Rice subdivision preliminary plat and development agreement. And we had some modifications. I'll have Sean, our city planner, talk about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. On page 11 of the Wild Rice Findings of Fact, under Statement of Compliance, the first bullet should read, the public is permitted to use the proposed pathways within the new development. This will be a condition of the development agreement and this part of the CCNRs. The second bullet should read, if the city includes the Middleton Canal in the upcoming city pathway system, the applicant shall grant a public easement to accommodate a 10-foot wide paved and ADA compliant pathway, public pathway along the canal. This will be a condition of the development agreement and part of the CCNRs. And finally, the third bullet, the applicant shall work with the city staff and the developer of Craftsman Estates to come up with solutions to the issue of the removal of the 2-foot buffer area between the two subdivisions. The applicant and or city staff shall update the neighbors on the proposed solutions and provide the council with a summary of those communications.
Okay. You guys have any questions of staff on those?
Mr.
No.
Mayor,
Councilman Keys?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Wild Rice subdivision preliminary plat and development agreement modification as amended by staff.
Okay, we got a, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Nope.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have, I'm sorry.
The motion should be to approve the findings of fact for those rather than just approving the plat. And
I'm sorry, you're correct. I amend my amendment or my motion.
Accordingly. Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We got 3 ayes. It's always that. All right, that motion carries. We're gonna move on to item 9A, the elected officials report. Councilman Keys, we'll start with you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to just to alert everybody that I received a notification from the Middleton Mill irrigation company that they are expecting that we're going to have a short irrigation season this year due to snowpack issues and a lack of rainfall this spring. And I just want to make sure everybody's just aware of that and that they can plan accordingly. Also, we've had, excuse me, Canyon Highway District number 4 has submitted their draft ordinance for the impact fee work that we've been working on for frankly about 2 years now. And so it's pretty exciting that we're getting near the end of that. And I'm not certain how long it will take Chris to go through that, but we're probably looking at second meeting in June potentially to finally get that approved.
So we are gonna put it on that second meeting in June, just so you're aware.
Great. And so I guess that gives Chris a deadline.
That's right.
And then I also wanted to discuss House Bill 389. And I would like to request that we put that on a future agenda.
It's already on June 1st agenda.
Perfect. Well, then I have nothing else to say about it until
See,
June.
when you're in
1st.
Nevada, I'm a step ahead of you.
There you go. Yeah, and by the way, when you asked what state I was in, it's like always, the state of confusion.
That's right.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman?
I don't have much else to add, but the committees did a lot of it for me, so thank you. Besides, other than I am doing a fire ops training this Friday, and I am very excited about it, a little nervous. It's going to be intensive, it sounds like. I went and got fitted for my gear, and I was in it for 15 minutes, and the fireman that was helping me, he looks at me and he's like, "You look a little overwhelmed." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, I am just so amazed, and I don't, I have so much respect for you guys that do this every single day. You come to work, you put this stuff on, and you roast." So thank you. But yeah, so very excited about that. And
Wait till you
I
get
will
to with the
report-
fires. You're gonna really.
I know. And
Drink
luckily,
lots of water
yeah,
right now.
I think it's going to be a fairly cool day, so I'm lucky there. But otherwise, I have nothing. I will report back, hopefully alive and not burnt.
That is I'm gonna tell you, it's a great opportunity to learn what these guys do day in and day out. And that's why you see these guys built like they are.
Yeah.
I'm total respect for them, so.
I'm done, thank
Okay,
you.
Councilman Hershey?
Yes, also Councilman Solomon, it is a phenomenal thing. It's something you will not forget. But I also got to do something rather interesting. I got to go speed around legally this time in a police car. So it was invited to the emergency vehicle operators course. And yes, I did kill a few cones. But it's phenomenal to witness not only, and if you've never taken a ride along with our Star PD, please do. They're absolute professionals. But it's phenomenal to see not only what they deal with, the stress of when they're dealing with a person, either a good guy or someone's having the worst day of their life, but all the stresses and training that just to get them to where they're going, or if you decide that you don't want to meet them where they want to meet you and try to run away. It's an amazing experience, especially when they put you in the car and they put another car and they pit it, spin it, and all of a sudden all the smoke of the tires and fragments are flying in your face. It's worth it, absolutely worth it. It makes that's the other part that makes this job cool. But it was phenomenal to see, and committee report I already did that. But yeah, the fire training, I will never forget that. And my primary job is federal fire. Now, don't think I'm cool. I fight fire with a keyboard. So, but I support the people that do it. So fire has always been in my heart, and it was just a really neat weekend. But I'm sure the mayor will comment on that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great training. I got to go on that one as well. And we're very blessed in our town to have Mr. Dale be one of the master trainers. He's one of our officers, deputies here in Star. So that just kind of shows you the quality of the folks that we have that work for us in our police force, which is awesome. So that was a good time too. And I had to learn, and actually, Chief, the driving thing with the fingers and the hands, I was doing that all weekend. So it's crazy defensive driving stuff that they were showing us. So
For the record, he drove way worse than I did.
yeah, that's right. That's right. And so this weekend, guys, just a reminder, we have the fishing, what we call it, the the police rodeo with the fishing down here at the park behind the River House. I think we got quite a few kids signed up for this. Again, it's one of our deputies that set this up all on his own to get some of that interaction with our kids. And he's done a great job on securing prizes and doing all that. So that's fantastic. We also have the garden tour this weekend going on. Ms. Dana set that all up. So I think it's on our website, the tour map, if you want to go check out these different gardens. And the iris garden, the big iris garden, right? Up off of Chinden. That's on there. And then we also have the Saturday, starting the Saturday markets out there in Blake Park this weekend, which is 10 to 3, I think. And they have a band sponsored. This is all sponsored by Southwest Idaho Business Alliance. And they have a band going on out there as well. Hunters Creek Park, if you've been at Hunter Creek Park, you've seen our grass is finally starting to come back. We had water main issues after we did some of that construction. And man, we're it's funny, you discover why things get built by the lowest bidder sometimes when you find lines that are not supposed to be there. Right? But that's coming. And then with Hunters Creek Park here in a couple weeks, you're going to start seeing some baseball tournaments with some really top class 13-year-old baseball players out there, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be a 4-day tournament brought on by West Valley Little League, and then part of Meridian's Dairy Days tournament will be the following weekend out here. So there'll be a lot of activity happening out there. Then we have bids coming on for the Blake Park upgrades that we're doing. I don't know if you guys have been to Blake Park there, but in the parking lot, we have flooding issues and we have ADA issues, and we're improving both of those on there and putting a path around the park. And then we're also doing the dog park at the Pavilion Park, which is down off of Highbrook. Is that Highbrook over there?
Yeah, Highbrook.
Yeah, Pavilion. I think it's Highbrook. Down off of Highbrook over there, and that's going to be a great park. So those bids come out on the 27th, and we expect to bring them to the council to see if they will approve the bids so we can move forward on the construction this year on those projects. That is all I have to communicate about right now. Do we have staff have any reports, Chief?
Forgot Mr. Keys.
Oh, no, he went first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he did. Oh, sorry, Councilman Keys. I'm just out of it.
No worries. I'm a very forgettable character.
Well, I think I'm in your time zone mentally.
Mayor, Council, Jake Vogt, Star Chief of Police. The mayor mentioned it, but I just wanted to say that we've had over 200 kiddos sign up so far through the Parks Department sign up. And just so everyone knows, you don't have to be signed up to show up. That's just kind of giving us a ballpark of how many numbers. So please, anybody else wants to come out, please show up. We're going to have a really fun event. Deputy Henderson has been working his tail off, getting some donations for prizes, and it's going to, I think it's really going to be a really fun event, the first one, and we look forward to doing it every year from now on. So we look forward to that. We've partnered with quite a few folks, so it's going to be a fun event, 10 to 1, and hopefully see everybody out on Saturday.
And I think we got Fish and Games going to do an additional stocking out
Yes.
there so we can make sure I know there's plenty of fish. I mean, they put 5,000 in there this spring, but they're putting more.
Yes. And I did go out with my family on Sunday, just to do a site survey to make sure it was good, and we did catch some fish,
Oh, awesome.
and they were great on the trigger.
Good.
So that is all I stand for. Any questions?
Yeah, is there a tase the mayor time during this?
We can work something out. Absolutely.
If we can raise money, I don't care.
Yeah. They're not gonna be any tagged fish, but we're gonna have prizes for, first caught, biggest, the most, those types of things. And we're also gonna have not only, the kiddos fishing in the actual pond, but we're gonna have a casting contest that's gonna be staffed by the wonderful volunteers of the Lions Club with some buckets and stuff. So prizes, closest to the bucket, in the bucket. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We
Yeah,
look forward to it.
It's gonna
So,
be fun out there.
yeah.
So this is great. Did the Fish and Game waive any of the licensing rules or anything
yes,
like that?
thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Deputy Henderson did apply for it and was granted I believe they call it an educational permit. Normally, kids 14 and over need to have a fishing license. This permit allows kiddos not to need a fishing license, essentially. And also anyone they're helping, volunteering, et cetera, also does not need a fishing license. So basically I wouldn't say exempt, but
It's like a free fishing day for
Correct.
that
correct.
period, which is
Yep.
cool.
And Fish and Game will be there if folks don't have fishing poles, tackle boxes. We're gonna have, we've received a donation for bait, so we'll have worms there. Fish and Game will bring several hundred fishing poles, so, they can, rent out, rent is free, but just, please bring it back type thing with the fishing poles. And so, yeah, if kiddos don't have those poles, don't have that equipment, please still show up. We'll take care of them.
Yep.
It'll be a fun event.
It'll be awesome.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chief, and thank you to the officers.
Councilman, did you have?
Is it in both ponds or just?
Just
east
the farthest west pond.
West.
Yes, that's the one that's
Westport.
been stocked.
Okay.
Yep. And Deputy Anderson's been working with Ron and Dana, who's been amazing to help get some information out there. And he's finalizing, hopefully be done by tomorrow. We'll have a map that we'll send out that'll show exactly, where everything's going to be. Please park here, don't park there, et cetera. So we'll get that information out here.
So if my kids don't want to go, can I just shrink down a little bit and pretend I'm a?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, I will tell you this, there's also a women's fly fishing group that's going to be down at the River House too.
Mhm.
And they're doing you'll see them out there playing as well, which is kind of, if you want to get in fly fishing, come do that.
So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Nothing, Ryan?
Just a brief update on south of the river. We have received the preliminary plan, and it is in-house right now. And so since we've noticed the public for that, it's available for review. There may be a couple just updates to it before we meet on June 1st and present it to the council for adoption. And we will have someone from Logan Simpson on site as they present that.
So real quick though, do we need to, publishing wise on that? If
We
it's
already
just-
did.
Oh, you did publish it.
Right, so
I
that's-
got you.
That's what I was
you're
just saying. We already published it. It was published. It went
Fall.
out on Friday, should have been published Monday. And so we got our proper timing in there. And then June 15th, we'll follow the same process for the architectural overlay. And we'll present that to the council for adoption as well on June 15th.
Can we put that online at all to review? Is it on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have the other one updated. I'll get with Dana and have
Okay.
the south of the river plan on there. And then as soon as they deliver the architectural overlay, I'll get with Dana and we'll have that on the website as well.
Cool, awesome, man, thank you. That's been a long time coming. So, all right, Mr. Chris? All right, cool, that is all for reports with the staff. We're gonna move to item 10, executive session. I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey.
I make a motion that we enter executive session. Do I need to read the
Yep.
reason why? 762041, oh, hold on. Here we go. Executive session 74-206 F to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options pending a litigation or controversies not yet being litigated, but immediately likely to be litigated.
Second,
Good. Did you second that, Councilman?
I did.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. This will be roll call.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Salmonson,
Aye.
Councilman Hershey,
Aye.
Councilman Keys,
Aye.
Okay, what is it, 7:48? We'll be entering executive session, so we're gonna invite everybody to leave at this point.